Welcome home, neighbors.
Welcome home, neighbors.
Hello, neighbors.
We're listening from
Arizona,
Florida,
Maryland, New York, New Jersey,
Indianapolis,
California,
Utah,
Michigan.
Iowa,
Massachusetts,
Georgia,
Canada,
Our home resort is
Animal Kingdom,
Polynesian,
Bay Lake Tower,
Old Key West,
Riviera,
Boardwalk,
Alani Resort,
Boulder Ridge,
Copper Creek,
Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs,
EPCOT,
and Wilderness Lodge.
and you're listening to
and you're listening
You're listening to my
DVC
voice.
Well, welcome home, everybody. So I'd like to welcome back to the show, Samantha. How you doing tonight, Samantha?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing great. And Alicia, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, we're happy to be here.
All right. Yes. Now, you had an exciting day today, didn't you?
Yeah, I made it all the way to the other side of Michigan, and collected and scooped up a fun little award for Coaches of the Year for the Regional Coach of the Year for Michigan for golf.
Yes. So I've got a photo here. So,
Yay!
and this was the Michigan High School Golf Coach of the Year award, right?
Yeah, so exciting. And I was the only female to win of all of the boys, like the boys varsity golf coaches in Michigan. So that was a pretty big honor. This is my second year in a row to get it. And I give all the compliments to all of my kids, all of the athletes. If they weren't so amazing in golf, I wouldn't have got so far in it. That's for sure.
Awesome. And so I had a really cute date last night. And actually, you can hear her in the intro video. She says, our home resort is, and then later you hear her say beach club. And so last night, Bryn and I went to the daddy-daughter dance.
Oh.
And so, yeah, we had a ton of fun there. Just a ton of fun.
I love that theme. How cute.
Oh, like me and the other dads were just so geeking out that we didn't have to wear a suit. We could just like rock a Hawaiian shirt. And I'll give bonus points to anybody who can tell me where my shirt and hat came from. So it is definitely Disney nerddom at the ultimate level. So
I can guess a few different things, but I don't think you've been to Alani yet. So
nope, I have not been to Alani, and Alani is not it. So we are not into Alani.
Good.
But so yeah, so Joe says congratulations, and so does Dan, and so does Caleb.
Oh, thank you. That is so fun. Yeah, if anybody needs any golf tips, just holler. I can help. I love that.
So, yep. And so we've got some guesses on the shirt as well. Joe is guessing Polly, and so is Mary. And it's a little more exclusive than those. So we'll
I'm guessing it. I wonder if I could look closer if it has something to do with Stitch. I know you're a pretty big Stitch fan.
I am a huge Stitch fan. That I am. So they came from Disneyland. And last year in the summer, they had a tiki takeover party at Club 33.
Oh.
And so I was just lucky enough to sneak in. I had a member get me a reservation there. And so, of course, I spent way too much on merch, like way too much. And,
but that's limited edition. Like, that's.
Yeah, that there are some Disney bragging rights. Yeah. I mean, when I go to Alani rocking that thing, so that's like some Disney chops on that one. Okay.
I guess the new word is ice. It's anything that has bling and stuff.
It's ice.
Yeah, my son says some Disney ice.
Some Disney ice. Well, we're definitely counting as Disney ice on that one.
There you go.
And so today we've got kind of a hodgepodge of news events and things to talk about. So the first article was out there, and it's a little geeky. So I started it off with while some people tune into the show, but it's talking about property tax assessments. Did you guys happen to read that article this week?
Yes, I did. And I know nothing about property taxes. So.
Got it. Well, in traditional real estate, they set your property value, like what you should be taxed at, based on what it was when it was sold. Well, with timeshares, they've been keeping it at what the developer sets for their price. But Florida is filled with all of these timeshares that are unlike DVC that you can't give away after you buy. So the resale value is like next to nothing. So one of the senators there has been working on a bill to come back in and set the value of the resort equal to what the resale values are. And for DVC, that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. We could see our stuff go down, but depending on how literal they take that, I could see it getting really low come 2020 Okay. Or not 2020, but 2030 when there's 10, 11 years left on that contract. And so who's going to pay full price for something that expires in 10, 11 years? But that's the going rate on the markets. But yet Disney gets it at the end.
That was my bad. I'm going to holler
So-
at Drew.
Don't worry about it. So
The beauties
we were
of
just,
live television.
Yeah.
yeah, we were just talking pre-show that your son does his game streaming from the same PC, and you've got to constantly switch those out, to do our show to his show, because he's like, Mom, that ain't cool enough to be my ice behind me.
Yeah.
to use
Yeah.
his
He's
word.
like,
okay.
oh, Mom. Yeah.
So
Sorry, Drew. We'll have to get some better stickum on that for next week.
yeah, but
But
anyways,
those are, if anybody's there at EPCOT, we made those during the art festival, the Festival of the Arts, I guess, a couple of years ago. So that's what those are from. But I guess
you
they
guys
wanted
made those.
Yes, yeah, we took a class with a Disney artist there. She's actually there, Crystal Dombrowski. She's there every year, so it was pretty cool. But I guess they wanted to jump into the show.
I'm telling you, right? Take center stage. Well, it beats taxes. Okay,
Yeah.
it definitely beats taxes.
But it
So.
yeah.
The whole story of that article was, let's keep an eye on it and see what it does to the DVC taxes. If that law passes, it will be interesting to see what goes through. So that was just kind of the first little article. I figured it was not going to catch a lot of attention, but I might as well kick off the show with it while people are starting to tune in.
It
But
sounds interesting. I mean, especially because so you're saying this will come into play if we ever buy or sell a used one. Is that what you're saying?
no, it's there. The tax assessor will be looking at the resale market for what's being bought and sold there. Okay.
So it could affect our yearly payments that we
Dues.
do.
Our dues could come down if they drop the property value of this property based on this thing getting a lower than original estimated value. Our dues could come down. Okay. Conversely, they could go up. Okay. If they're looking at this saying, well, Disney set this Saratoga at $68 a point when we first assessed it, and now it's trading for $105 on the resale market, our dues could possibly go up if they say it's worth more. So we don't know how this is going to come out yet. It's just something to keep your eyes on at this point in time, and a great little story to follow.
That could have made a big impact from let's say if you bought 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is what it is there for the property assessment and taxes. We'll see how that comes out, but it's a unique DVC is just a unique beast. So I'm curious to see how they'll do that one. But when is everybody going home again? So Samantha, do you have your countdown?
So I am at 70 days and 10 hours, and I'm going to use my fast pass day as the next countdown. So I got 10 days for something.
That's so
Gotcha.
fun. Now,
That
mine
is.
is 9 months from now. We're heading out to Disneyland, but that's okay. I'm broke. I'm out of money. It's all good. I got to make some money so we can go out to Disneyland. So it's all right.
Got it. I think I'm into the 90s at this point in time. I'm coming home the Saturday before Memorial Day. Unless I can sneak another trip in. This next story has got me wanting to sneak one in. So we'll see what can happen. I was already looking at Spirit Airfare today. Best I could do is $110 round trip. And I'm holding out for a little better than that.
I got to
Okay?
say, I have been looking. I've been digging it. They've been sending out, hey, spring break deals, $49 each way. And I'm like, ooh, that's kind of tempting. You guys all know me. I would hop down for just, 48 hours would be that would be great. I would go in a heartbeat.
Oh, you and me both. But did it 3 times in the last 2 months. So, but Mary is saying that she's got a 63-day countdown. Poor Dan here. He just broke 300 though. So hang in there, Dan. We'll send some pixie dust your way if you keep tuning in, buddy. And Felicia saying 31, 62 for Brandy. It's almost fast pass.
Almost.
And 164-ish. I'm loving the ands. Okay, Lorraine 69 days. Amanda 103. And then poor Melissa here.
Not soon enough.
Yeah, she hadn't even started the number yet. It's so depressing, right?
Yeah, I'm not doing my countdown yet. I'm just doing it in months. It's 9 months. Sounds way quicker than how many days.
I'm telling you, 57 for Mike, and Dan Kenny is at 148. Caleb said he had 128 days, but he added on 3 days. So way to go, Caleb. Get
That's
down there
my kind
early.
of person. I
Get
do
the
that all the
countdown
time.
lower.
I get closer and I'm like, well, one more opened up. What if we just leave one day early? You know.
I'm telling you, right? Robert's at 28, and Scott is still in the 300s, but he is going to Alani in January. So
That's awesome.
That's really, and I even like Lorraine's little accounting method here. She's not going to say she's at 69 days. She's going to say she's at 9 days till fast passes.
That's what I'm
right?
doing. 10 days to fast pass. And then, we might see each other at Moonlight Magic. That's awesome.
Oh, fun.
Oh,
Fingers
yeah, you guys
crossed.
will have to grab a selfie. So
Yes.
yeah, grab the selfie this time, Sam. So
I was a
right?
bad millennial this weekend. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. So, Ashley's got 185 days, but tell us how you failed there, Sam.
So last night I was so lucky to meet up with Steve and Shelley from Pop Creative Designs, and they're a little Insta famous, so I was a little starstruck. But me and Shelley have been talking back and forth for a couple months now. Most of my ears actually are from their shop, and I have 2 ear displays, which they're gorgeous. But we met up to talk Disney, hang out, and I got these beauties for Flower and Garden. So I'm so excited to wear these, but there was no selfie to commemorate the event, sadly.
Yeah. So because you didn't have a selfie to share with us, I'm just going to have to throw up their website here. So huge shout out to Shelley and Steve over at Pop Creative. They do some really cool products and signs and just some really neat stuff over there.
Are those the comfortable ones that don't hurt?
Yeah, so the band is like really stretchy, so I don't think I'll get a headache from them. And then the bands that Shelley uses are kind of, they're thin and they're a little more flexible, so there's no ear headache. So you can wear them all day long.
That's nice.
It seems like Disney would start to take a note from all these Etsy shop designers that are creating these flexible ones that don't hurt. So you would hope.
Because you have different sizes. I mean, you have everybody from the 2-year-old up to the 99. It's I've seen guys wear them, Chad. So
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
I'm still looking for an automotive engineering buddy to help me come in and make some magnetic name tag, the little magnetic name tags.
Mm-hmm.
I want mouse ears that have that on there so I can just pop them onto my hat, right? And then I can just instant mouse ear my hat. And
Patent
then
it, and you are golden. Yeah.
I'm telling you, right? And then I'm going to do a YouTube video testing the magnet strengths on all the roller coasters
Just
and
like whip your head around.
work my way up to Rock and Roll roller coaster and see if I can get them so that they stay on while I ride the ride. That's the goal.
Yes.
Okay. I keep pitching that idea to every automotive engineer that I run across. I'm like, come on, bro, let's just go down to Disneyland and we'll try this out. We'll hop on some roller coasters. It'll be fun.
Just in case, though, maybe sit towards the back. Just in case.
True.
Just in case. Yeah, well, we'll see.
Do they let you wear the ears on the roller coasters?
I don't know if they'd stop it, but
Because they make you take your hat off. So I mean, I don't think they make you, but they're like, hey, take your hat off.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Well, I could put a little strap on the hat then and tie it.
Oh,
But
wouldn't
I'm
that be
testing the
cute?
ears, right?
Now
I'm
it's
testing the ears.
Now it's a bonnet, though,
We're
because you've
gonna-
added the string.
I hope everybody's envisioning Chad with a bonnet. 'Cause here we go.
Yeah, thanks for manning that up. These are supposed to be my manly ears there, Samantha. So
Sorry.
Oh, I like that one. Felicia, she said, to do the Velcro ones, so maybe that would work.
yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking of. Instead of Velcro, though, have a magnet that you put the little plate on the bottom side of the hat, and the magnets are in the ears, and then it clamps itself onto the hat. That's what I'm working on. Yep.
I like it.
Caleb's picking up what I'm talking about here. Life
goals.
goals. Life goals. So, yeah. But that's anyways, how'd we get onto this rabbit, right?
That's Samantha. Oh, this one's Samantha.
Being a bad millennial. That's how we got here.
Oh, my goodness. So, anyways, now we've got another agenda item to talk about tonight, and that is the merchandise that's coming out from EPCOT Flower and Garden. And I put a link out there to Disney Food Blog, and I'll go ahead and share that screen.
So this is my favorite Disney topic, other than DVC, is merch.
Yeah, well, I think we're kind of there as well. So, anyways,
We must have warehouses full because every single store has different stuff. I mean, there's so many
Yep.
things.
They do. And well, DVC Moonlight Magic this year looks like they went to a single Moonlight Magic set of merch for everything. But when you start coming down into this, I mean, I'm going to make Samantha here start to drool by showing all this.
All the spirit jerseys and the lounge flies and the ears. Just take all of my money.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So they've got some really cool stuff. And right there's
Orange Bird.
Yep, the new lounge fly for Orange Bird. And then hey, there's
There's your next Hawaiian shirt.
with a matching hat, no less.
Those are very cute.
Yeah, I don't know if I could rock the complete orange though. I had a little bit of problems with the orange this last time, but
It's very Ricky Fowler, which if anybody's golfy, they'll understand Ricky. But yeah,
got it. And then, do they even have the magnets in here? No, they don't. They don't have the magnets in this one. So, I cannot wait. And that's why I'm thinking of doing that extra trip down. Does anybody else out there collect magnets?
I do.
You do? Yeah. I do as well. And it used to be so nice because if all 5 of us had an annual pass, I could just walk in with the kids' cards and they'd go, oh, it's the same address, and hand me 5 magnets. Now they actually have to be present to get the magnet. And which is really kind of a bummer because I would go down there and then get into a magnet trading group on Facebook. And okay, I didn't make the Donald one, but I've got 2 of Orange Bird. So I'll trade you an Orange Bird for a Donald and we'll be all good. And now you can't quite do that anymore.
So where do you display all of the magnets?
They're all at my work office. So next week I'll bring in a photo of it to come back in and show you what it all looks like. Because not only do I do the pass holder ones, but every resort we stay in, I get a magnet from
That's
to
cool.
like commemorate that trip. And it turns like this massive metal file cabinet in my office into this huge like Disney celebration stuff. So it's a ton of fun. It's
so
just
cool.
it's just an absolute ton of fun to come back in and
Especially
do
if it's like a collector item that you don't have to purchase. Like it's just part of what you already purchased. So that makes it nice. Now I have a bad addiction. They've been sitting here for a while. It's nothing that we purchase, and you guys are gonna, shame me for this. But I can't throw away these bags, right? Like they're these like the paper bags that you get your like to-go food in. Isn't that ridiculous? But I think they're fun. I mean, how cute is that? Mini Eats and Treats. That's from the Riviera. I've got them from like all the other places, but they're little, paper bags. I bring them home and reuse them until they fall apart. But I think they're fun.
Yeah, you mentioned what's the most hillbilly thing you collect from Disney World, and we were going to have that conversation on the bags as well.
Oh, yeah, we were.
Right?
I think it's so fun.
Yeah, what else do you guys out there collect? Is any of these things like ringing a bell for you guys? I see that Melissa makes this comment here. You can never have enough spirit jerseys.
That is so true. If you need a second drawer for your spirit jerseys, you just go ahead and clear them out.
Yep. And Mary's right there with you. She says she brings home the paper bags with the handles.
You get me, right? They're just too cute.
You know what? In all honesty, I did bring home the one from the Riviera, the member update, okay? Where they give you a little tiny bag about this big, okay? This big. It's kind of hard to see because I'm getting close to the deal, right? But it's a little tiny Riviera bag, and it's brown. It's blue with like a gold emboss on it, and it has the Rice Krispie treat in there and the pin in there. And I did bring it home, and then I was like, "What am I going to use this for? I'm never going to like."
Send it to Alicia.
Well, I
Or
think the
Sam,
trash man
I
already
love
came,
bags.
Alicia.
I
So-
don't know why I like brown paper bags.
So we'll have to like everybody collect your brown paper bags, and we'll send them to Alicia then. So.
So I have a collection of the new Ziploc bags from Splash Mountain, like that you get on the way into the line. They're for your phone and things, but I have like 10 of them. They make good phone holders, pin holders. You can just put anything in there.
I've never even known they do that. That's cool.
So
Got
just pick
it.
up 10 the next time you're in line. Just
Got it. So Caleb here is saying that they have the AP magnets for the Arts Festival, and the artist that designed it signed it for us.
ooh, cool.
Wow.
Wow, if I had a second one, I would have it signed by the artist, but I would want one original, okay? Just like preserved. And none of mine ever make it to a car. Okay, because that would just ruin them. No, these are indoor magnets only, right? But Dan writes in that they're getting a coffee mug from each resort that they stay at. And then Brandy's here, little Miss Deep Pockets, collecting the Doonies, which are a very pricey habit.
But they're so cute.
They're so cute.
Yep. So, and Dan, that is the reason why my magnets will never, ever see a car.
Nope.
Okay? Because somebody will come and snag it. Okay?
I just put that, the DVC member, like the clear sticky one on the outside of my car just a couple weeks ago. And then I went through a car wash and I was like the whole time just staring at it going, and it held up. It was good. It's all good.
Yeah, the new cling that came out this spring, right?
Yeah.
And then Felicia's with me on doing the magnets and then the pressed pennies as well.
Oh,
yeah.
I do have, I have those. And then they also have they had little charms. Have you seen those that they made from the old tracks of different things that they cut out? Oh, I'll have to bring those in sometime if you guys haven't seen those. And they have little wishes on them, like dream and hope and love. And those were very fun. I'll have to find those.
Awesome. So that's really, really, really cool there. And let's see, just wrapping this up here. Tina says she went to the Disney outlet in Myrtle Beach this morning and they do not have plastic bags. So she had to purchase the reusable ones. But she is looking forward to reusing it. Yeah, those reusable bags are picking up some steam as well. People are kind of loving on those these days as well.
And they were cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Mary loves the pressed pennies. She had another comment here that she just got the Fantasia Dooney this week.
Oh, that one is so cute. I thought about it. I really thought about it.
Couldn't quite pull it off, huh?
No. See, I have a list of stuff that I want to get in May, and the list just keeps growing and growing and growing, so I can't get much before then. So no Fantasia Dooney for me.
Got it. Does everybody else out there have a list of merch that you're going for? Like a shopping list when you hit Disney World?
Well, I keep looking for some hidden Mickey clothes, something that I can wear every day that maybe that I know is Disney, but not everybody knows that Disney. So my husband and I always look for that. The golf shops tend to have a little bit more that it's just kind of like what you're wearing, but then it has a Mickey somewhere on it. But sometimes there's some stuff that you're like, okay, I really want this, but they don't make it, so you have to wait years in order to find. Hey, they finally made, whatever it is that you're looking for.
Got it. Yeah, I think it's that merch game that they've got is pretty strong. We all kind of have our own little thing that we pick up. I used to do picture frames, and then I ran out of space to put my frames because I always keep the pictures. Okay, so I figured I'll get a nice frame, and I'm just out of space for them. So the magnets are much tighter, they're much more condensed, and I've got more place I can do that. So that's why I kind of switched there. But other story tonight is I'd like a little bit of feedback. So I've been hearing people for a while talking about new DVC members and them wanting more content on power tips and techniques that really aren't embedded into a whole hour-long podcast, that we could just do a quick topic, quick 15, 20-minute live discussion, and maybe even convert it to a podcast on what's a U-shear, okay? And make it really searchable for YouTube and that kind of a deal. What do you guys think on that? Any thoughts? Anybody want to do that? Would that be something you guys would join live to support? Because it's not just me saying it. I mean, some of the sponsors have mentioned it as well. And so if I'm hearing enough people do it, I think we might try it for a little bit and see what happens there. It's just some kind of additional show.
Well, I think especially while you're on YouTube and stuff, when you're searching different topics, and some people are they just really want to know how to do that one resource on whatever topic that they're looking for. That probably would be helpful.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking, 10, 15-minute shows at max, just a real little tight, tiny one. And then still try to work in some live participation, because I like the live shows as well. And I like doing that. So I'm going to think about that one and start to see what's going on. And so Mary asked, an FAQ, Yes, except it would be like one FAQ topic a week to just kind of create a little bit of content on there. What's a use year? Another one could be banking and borrowing. Little tiny topics along those lines that it seems like people are asking for, and it'd be nice to just be able to link a small video on it. So I got to figure out how I can do that, because the way I was going to do it, it's just going to take too much time to produce. And so I think if I do it as a live show, it could be a little bit more flexible. So
I think that'll be fun.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it would have been helpful for me because I was reading a lot of stuff online, but there's not a whole lot of YouTube resources out there, and it's kind of just easier to learn from a video. So it basically became me texting my Aunt Lynn, who's my DVC member that I go to for everything. And I was like, so how does banking work and how does borrowing work? So I think if I didn't have to text her all the time, that would have been a good thing.
Yeah, and so Caleb saying do it, it's a need for the fellow members, and like all of the admins in my Facebook groups always say, look, you need to create this. And I've been holding off because we answer those questions, but we just bury them in a podcast interview. And so like, I think this week I answered somebody who's like, what best advice do you have? And I was just like, well, binge the podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You will seriously get, I've probably had 50 to 100 people on the show in the last 75 episodes sharing their stories, tips, and techniques. So, but it's just going to take you some time to do it because that's probably 100 hours of content. So yeah. And Mary comments live might be good because you could ask questions as well. And then Wendy, we're right there with you. I never have to bank, just borrow. I'm banking my Grand Cal points this year so that I can get a 2-bedroom for 4 or 5 nights next year. And so I have to force myself to do it. But it's just like every time I look, I'm like, drool. Then I'm going, I can't use Grand Cal any place but Grand Cal. I can't use any place but Grand Cal. Save. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Right. And see, even, Mary, an established member bank, what's that?
What is that?
So. Yeah, because once you get behind that 8-ball borrowing, it's just, that's what prompted a Disney cruise this year. We were like, okay, we've borrowed so much, we don't have enough points, then maybe we should go on a Disney cruise and then pay cash for that and then kind of catch up some. So that was the plan.
That is a good way to like hop back in even without having to, buy more points or, that's a good way to do that.
Yeah, or just go to Disneyland and pay cash, okay?
Yeah.
Because you won't notice it so much if you're staying off property there. And there's really not that big a benefit staying on property in Disneyland. It's not like it's the world.
Yeah.
But so anyways.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. So that's that topic. And then Alicia, you had a great topic this week. So I'll let you kick this one off.
Okay, so I get a lot of messages. If anybody has any questions, people message me all the time about how we go to Florida so much. And we do travel quite a bit, and we have 4 kids. And I love the whole conversation of how people get to Disney. So like, do you drive? Do you fly? Do you live on property or live close and just Uber there? Like there's so many different ways to get there. So I think it would be kind of fun for everybody out there to kind of write in, do you drive? Do you fly? And if you do drive, then do you spend the night? Like, do you go straight through? Like, we're ones that are big proponents of driving straight through the night. So we can zip through all of the major cities, but we're coming from Michigan. Do you guys, when you're driving, do you guys have to get a hotel room and take like 2 or 3 days? Some people take 3 days just to get to Disney. And I'm like, holy cow, right? But some people fly and I've never flown to Disney, but I've flown many times to Florida. And I think I do it wrong. So, so I think I fly into the wrong airports, or I have to Uber when I get there and it's a long Uber because I didn't, spend the more money to fly into like where Chad goes and things like that.
Yeah. So we were telling her, she was saying that she's flown into Sanford before. And I'm just like, ooh, that's just doing it wrong. Cause then you don't get Magical Express and you have to rent a car there. Okay. Or pay huge Uber bills back and forth each way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if I'm going to fly, I'm going to, I did Sanford once and I swore off of it, never again.
And I liked how small it was. I mean, I just walked right up. We were right there, which is great. but I didn't fly to go to Disney with that.
Yeah. And then the other part to that I would ask is, do you guys have any road trip traditions for those of you who drive? Okay. Because I have heard some people like over in the EPCOT group, my buddy Chris Malick and WDW Review. We had a great discussion over there once, and somebody was talking about this thing called state line gifts, right? In order to bribe their kids to be good, that they will give them a little tiny trinket, like a dollar store item, okay, as a state line gift whenever they cross a state line. And if you're coming from up north here, Illinois or Michigan, you've got several state lines to cross both ways. So to me, that seems like that's a really good idea. But what other traditions do you guys have?
Yeah, and we do very similar to that. So I always get like on the road, treats and dollar store stuff. When they were littler, worked really good, and as they grow older, a little like Legos and stuff. But it was whenever they got back in the car, that's when we would give them their gift. So and when we were in the car, we drove in Yukons and conversion vans and all of those kind of things. To get them back in that buckle was very hard, especially when you're driving through the night. But the reason you drive through the night is because once they fell asleep, it was so peaceful. They were so quiet. They didn't ask to go to the bathroom or hit the other kid on the head. Like, it was quiet. There was no semi trucks out. There was no cars, no construction. We just flew. So, definitely those trinkets helped getting them back in the buckle.
Okay, so you get a get back in the car kind of a reward. Okay.
Yeah. And if you stop at like this restaurants that have gifts, you're like, oh well, if you buy that, you won't get my gift, right? You'd much rather have my dollar store crayons than that $7.95 toy there.
Oh! Now that's a new trick. That's a new trick, right? So, but okay. So Mary is here saying that that they fly, and
we do too, exclusively.
Yeah, and well, Samantha, now you're a unique situation because like Alicia has to buy 6 plane tickets, and I have to buy 5 every time we go as a family. Mm-hmm. So that's all coming out of our budgets.
Yeah.
So
the max number of tickets that we ever have to book is usually 4. So it's me, my mom, my dad, my sister. If all 4 of us go, we'll split the cost, but most of the time it's just me and a friend, so everybody's buying their own ticket. And we're lucky that we live 10 minutes away from an airport, so I can get on a direct flight to Orlando in no time. Sometimes we will fly out of Philly if it's a little bit cheaper, but then you have to add in driving to Philly, parking in Philly, getting your car back, so it's just so much easier to fly where we are right now.
Got it.
And it seems like for us, like the $400 is kind of the break-even point. Like if you can fly with your family for $400 or under, then fly, But and when we had little kids, like we had toddlers everywhere, they came with so much crap. I mean, there was strollers and car seats and like 17 stuffed animals that had to go with us and 4 princess dresses. I could have never flown. So like we ended up upgrading to get the motorhome, and then we could put everything, including the kitchen sink and the dog, bringing all of that to Disney. So, I mean, it depends on how little, like, I don't know how I would have flown with 4 little kids. I mean, that would have been tough.
Yeah.
So what we do for tickets, just to save some money, is we go out to the airport and buy them from the counter, because then you don't get charged that online processing fee. So if online it says the ticket's like $100, if you go to the airport, it's closer to like the 60 to 75 range.
Wow,
so
that's a great
ton
savings.
off. Yeah,
That's a spirit trick. Yep.
That's a spirit trick.
Yeah, I love that spirit trick, right? Dan is saying that they fly. They're a family of 7, but they're coming from California, so it is pricey.
Well, we're going back that way.
I could not imagine driving to California.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, that would just be, right. And Felicia's saying that they've driven 2 times from Wisconsin, and they drove straight through, but now they fly. And
yeah, I would love to hear about tricks on driving out there in California too. I mean, if he goes to Disneyland, there's probably different, places to park or different tricks that he's probably learned if he goes out there.
Yeah. And Carol is saying that they fly. They use their Delta American Express for everything. This way I use my points towards the price, and also giving you the free check bags, and they do Magical Express and then have a service do grocery shopping. Absolutely.
Nice.
we had Instacart last time. I think Laura tried the mydvcpoints.com/Instacart affiliate feed, and that worked out exceptionally well. I mean, exceptionally well. They replaced a few items. They had sent her some messages when we were in the air, but it showed up at about the same time we did at the resort. And that just really, really, really worked out well. But Caleb is also saying here, if you rent a car anyways, Allegiant airfare is cheap, but it only goes to Sanford. And yeah, that's true, Caleb.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to rent a car anyways, then taking that cheap Allegiant airfare, if you can get it, because they're like a B region airport. So they don't service major cities like Detroit, Chicago. They would do more like Flint and Grand Rapids up in Michigan, and some like smaller locale cities that still have quite a few people, but not enough to have a major busy airport. So
And I think renting a car would be beneficial depending on which resort you're staying in. So like when we stayed at Old Key West, I don't think I would ever stay at Old Key West without a car. Maybe it was just, if you're guaranteed to be close to like the hospitality house, that would be helpful. But when we stay at Copper Creek, we never touched the car at all. So
yeah, Old Key West is kind of an interesting deal, right? And Mary was saying that they usually rent a car, and she's never used Magical Express. And that kind of shocks me, Mary, because you're there all the time. But she might use it in April. I'd say try it once and see if you can save some cash on that Magical Express stuff. But then Lorraine writes, thankfully, their 2 kids by their own now. That sounds like a winner to me. But I've got a few years before that one can happen. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then Danielle writes, when my kids were younger, I always had a bag of stuff. I would give them something whenever they seemed to get bored. It would be games, activity books, or DVDs, and magnets are fun activities, and they drove from Maryland. So that's quite a haul as well.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, just today, Izzy and Allie and I drove, it was a 6-hour round trip. And he's like, oh, you should, Chad was sweet. He's like, oh, you should have came over and spent the night. I'm like, this is nothing. We drove to Florida for the day.
I was like, you're 15 minutes from my house. How could you not? Like,
I know, but you wanted me here. I had to hurry.
Yeah, this is true. I did need you to work tonight, so. So I could take my choice. Either that or you could have went live here and drove home afterwards, right?
Yeah, that would have happened.
That would have went over well with the kids going to school tomorrow, right?
Right.
Yeah, a couple more of these comments here. So Holly writes, we fly as a family of 5 from Ohio. The time is worth the cost for us because of work schedules.
Time is a great thing. So when we started flying a lot more this winter, that was the big one, that if you're only going down for 4 days, well, flying really saves you 12 hours each time you go, because I count flying from the time you leave your house till the time you get to your room. Like, that's how long it is.
Yeah, and as well, you're lucky in the fact that you get to fly Southwest, okay?
Yeah.
Because Southwest is one of the best airlines out there, okay? Like, by far. They're no bags fees, the change policies, they're just head and tails above the rest, okay? I love Southwest. They just don't have any direct flights any place out of Detroit that I need to go. Otherwise, I would be like, just sign me up for Southwest. And Nick is saying from YouTube that they drove straight down a few times, and as a kid from New Jersey, and try sitting in the back seat of a 96 Saturn with a 6 foot 2 inch with luggage
fun.
on your lap. Not fun. Flying is life. Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh,
that's
that's rough.
dedication.
I mean, when I was a kid, I rode down to Florida from Michigan in a 1976 Buick LeSabre, okay? In the front seat on the little armchair fold down, right? Because this was the 70s, right? You know, like the little armchair. That was my seat because I was the smallest in the family. I was the baby, okay?
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at this today and going, my wife having a fit about car seats and all this stuff, and I'm sitting here going, do you know where I rode when I was a kid?
No, yeah.
And she kind of replies back and going, yeah, but I was, in one of those suicide seats in a Woody wagon driving down to Florida.
Yeah.
So that faces backwards that, makes you puke because you can't see where you're going.
Oh, that would be bad. My parents had a conversion van and they had beds set up in it, and I would sleep underneath it or play Barbies underneath the beds, just running around. It was great.
Yeah. So let me scan through some of these as well. Yeah, Southwest is the best. And Caleb's saying they've also used Southwest card bonuses and earned companion passes. That's what I'm talking about. That companion pass is worth its weight in gold on Southwest. And
now, Frontier, we flew that one time this year, and they had free child's pass. So it was like through a discount den, but it was only valid on Wednesdays. So you had to fly Wednesday to Wednesday for your kid to fly free.
That's not bad. And Lorraine is with me. She likes Magical Express, and then we use a Lyft if they really need to get someplace. It's definitely cheaper than getting a car. My May trip down there I'll be doing a couple days at Walt Disney World, and then I'm going to Terry Weaver's The Thing conference this year. And then I'm coming back to Walt Disney World afterwards because the conference is just right around the corner from Disney Springs. So it's at like a Embassy Suites or something along those lines. And I looked at it and I was like going, man, I'm going to be there 9 days total. Why don't I just front end and back end my trip so that I can get Magical Express each way and then either ride with Terry or take an Uber over to that hotel and be done with it and not have any cars. And so far, hopefully that'll be what you're talking about there. But, okay. Mary's with me. She rode to Florida in a Firebird on the floor hump before as a child.
I saw that one. That was funny.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I think we pretty well covered this and talked about most people tend to fly here, Alicia.
I'm the odd man out of driving. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's most people tend to fly, and
so I think we need to go back and they all need to see how many kids they've got. Do they have 4 kids? Yeah, and golf clubs. Like we always golf when we're down there. So I heard that the best airline to fly on when you're going down there is Delta because they don't charge bags, and one of your bags can be a golf set. So
with their credit card, you can get free bags, one per person.
Yeah.
So your golf club might count as that as or not. Some of them make that overpriced, for golf clubs as well, for like oversized and things along those lines. So, yeah. Anyways, I think we pretty well covered this topic. Maybe we'll pick that up next week with a poll on do you Magical Express or not, because so many of us are flying, and start to see how that ends up and where that ends up going. Okay. Now, here's the feature story tonight, and this one just came out today, and it started out this morning as a rumor, but Samantha, you're hearing from some sources that this one's pretty confirmed that we're going to get a new dining plan option.
Yeah, so a lot of the sources that I get my news from, they're reporting that we'll be able to get this new dining plan plus. So it kind of sits between the standard Disney dining plan and the deluxe dining plan starting February 27th. So February 27th and on, those people will be able to book this new dining package. And so far it looks like it's 2 credits, which you can use either for quick service or a table service, which is kind of how the deluxe works, but they give you 3 and you still get the mug, the 2 snacks a night and all that good stuff. But it's an interesting option to add on.
So it sounds like it's the deluxe dining plan skinny. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If there is such a thing as skinny on the dining plan, like let's just be real here. Okay.
No, we call it fat camp. We all gain at least 5 pounds, if not 10.
It's so much food,
but it's so good. And it's like great food that us, we don't have all of those resources here in, our area. So they have so many options.
Yeah, so I look at it and I was going, this last trip, I might have came out ahead on the dining plan because we did Chef Mickey's. We were there for essentially 2 nights. And we did Chef Mickey's, we did Boma, and we did Sanaa. And we easily could have fit in another sit-down restaurant as well. And between those 3, I think we dropped $1,100-$1,200 on 8 people. And only 3 of us went to BOMA as well. So when you factor all of that in there, I think we would have came out ahead on the dining plan. So this one might have made sense for us. So I'm looking at it with a optimism to see how it's priced and see if we can make something out of this. Right? I'm curious as to what everybody else thinks about this deluxe dining plan light that just has 2 table services instead of 3 on there.
Well, and it would be good to hear how and when it would be beneficial. Like, so we always do the dining plan, and we do have kids and they're teenage boys, but they eat like ribs and steak. And in the past, we would do like the lower one that would still have 1 dining credit. But then many times I want to do a signature dining to really get like the bang for the buck, where you're eating with the princesses or something amazing like Ohana. But this way, it sounds like this one, I'd be able to have 1 big dinner like that and not take 2 days of meals away. I would only be taking 1 day of meal away and having to use my snack credits in order, for breakfast or a late lunch or things like that.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking at it if this is not a rumor, if this is a thing that's coming, because for my May trip, I have mostly quick service, but then I have 1 table service that's at homecoming. So if I can kind of interchange the credits on what I'm using them for, I would almost rather get this like deluxe plan light, because then I'm not paying out of pocket for that 1 table service meal. And then I'm not, losing other credits or having to book other table services, because with my itinerary, it's just not going to work. So maybe.
I mean, Ohana is a 1 table credit dinner, and that's incredible. Okay. Yeah. I think BOMA is 1 table credit as well. And when they're charging you $50 for that meal, that's a pretty decent value. Okay. If you could start to come back in, and I think our prices at Sanaa would be right up there to around the $50 a person by the time you added in the drink, the appetizer, all that kind of fun stuff. Like the bread service there, you're going to get. I just don't know if they'll put that as bread service as 1 person's dining plan credit, or if it'll take 2, or how they'll handle that. But if it was 1 person could get that bread service for their appetizer, like I could just meal on the bread. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that'd be a snack credit. Maybe.
Yeah. And
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh. Could that be a snack credit?
Put that in as a recommendation. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, it really is. And I think Garrett here nails it. He goes, 3 table service a day is too much, especially for a week-long trip. And
That's
then
a lot of food.
It's a lot of food. I mean, I look at it like that deluxe dining plan is I'm just committing to gluttony. Okay.
I'm just spending all of your time building where you're going to eat from one meal to the next, instead of like 1 time a day I can plan a big meal.
Yeah. And Danielle comments here that it would be nice for signature dining, which takes 2 credits. To your point, I think you brought that up earlier here. And
like a lot of people's favorite is like the boathouse. That's 2 credits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think Caleb writes a comment here. He goes, I think it would be a good option for a short stay or a split stay, a late character breakfast, and a late dinner.
Now, that's a great idea, too, on a split stay. And if you do choose it for a split stay, I would highly recommend doing it in the beginning of your stay, because your cups, I'm pretty sure, are good for 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're good for 14 days there.
Yeah.
They're good for 14 days. Okay. And Mary comes in and goes, I want to know if the cost and if the apps are included in that, if they've still changed that. And somebody else made a comment here that the price was key. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Because I always try to do the math of, is it going to save me more money to do like a quick service dining plan, or should I just get, a bunch of discounted gift cards at Sam's? So the math is really going to, like, that price is really going to make or break it for me.
And some part of it is the math, and I mean, a lot of it also is the splurge. Like, so many times when we go out to dinner, even tonight, I mean, we all went out and we're like, nope, you're all getting water. No, you're splitting this and things like that. It does add up quickly. So by doing the meal plan, I can say, kids, eat whatever you want. Go ahead, indulge. While you're here.
That's kind of true. You can just say, hey, you can get whatever you want as long as it's on the meal plan. And that makes you the nice mom. Okay. on vacation at least. Okay.
Yes.
And Danielle's saying that even without knowing the cost, I feel to get your money worth out of it, both credits would be needed to be used at table service. And I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
I mean, the quick service would just be at the end of my trip with, I've got some of these to blow and I can't get a reservation or I don't have time to go sit and do a table service. Okay.
Except for Geyser Point. I mean, you gotta just say it.
Geyser Point, that bison burger. Yeah. If they give you the appetizer, the drink, and the dessert on that, okay, you could easily get $50 worth of value there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Easily. But you'd have to get all 4 items on there to be able to hit that break even point. Okay. And
it's also to be said too, though, that the more we add up on those things, you still have to pay gratuity. And for our family, I mean, it's 18%. Even if you have a 2-year-old, it's 18% when you have 6 people. So that stuff adds up quickly. The more cocktails I drink.
yeah, that's true. Like the gratuity there. And Mary comes back in and she goes, I always order a steak so I can make the dining plan work. And I'm with you on that one. I would love to be able to come down there and have a few steaks, especially if it was a split stay and I only had to do this for like 2 days. And Sarah says, we would love this change. A breakfast and a dinner is all you need. And then a snack throughout the day.
Yep.
And she's hoping that it's not too far off in price. And I'm with you on there, Sarah. I think this becomes a little bit more reasonable and a little bit more workable because the medium plan today with the 1 quick service, 1 table service isn't quite enough when you want to come back in and do character dining and eat at the nice table services that they are there. Okay. I mean, I had a friend when I was doing financial coaching come back in and point out that going out to eat at a restaurant is a form of entertainment. Okay. Because I could stay at home and I could eat the same cooking that I'm used to eating where I cook myself, but I'm going out to experience something new and to go to a new environment and a new server, a new set of taste and flavors, in a new environment and new things on the wall. And it's all just entertainment. So when we go to Walt Disney World, it really is about the entertainment. And I think the food in the restaurants are equally as much an attraction as the rides themselves. So kind of my take on it, right?
It's worth it. It's part of the experience. And people do have to pay for it because those people are working hard. The crew is there. There's a lot of staff.
Yep.
They take their time. They deserve to get paid too.
Our buddy Brad Coates answers this question here. The bread service is not included in the dining plan now, so it's doubtful they would include it with the new plan. And that's kind of a bummer there, Brad. I was hoping reality wouldn't set in, but obviously it's too good to be true, right?
Well, let's start a social media campaign to get it included as a snack, and maybe if we make enough noise, someone will listen.
Yeah, like 2-3 snack credits or something. Or you could 2 people on the dining plan could share that as their appetizer. There we go. I think that's a fair option. But Nick writes in, we always plan our meals and try to price it if it's worth it for us for that trip. Although we always end up with leftover snack credits, which equals snacks for the airport. And yeah, I think Shannon mentioned it in her interview. She goes in and buys all these Rice Krispie treats with the leftover snack credits. And the last time we did the dining plan with a big group, we ended up getting the suckers from the gift store, like the big ones that are like this, that are bright and colorful with Mickey on them. And then my wife hauled home like 20 of them and ended up for kids' birthday parties. She would wrap their gift and then, put the bow and ribbon and then tape one of those things on it for added decoration and gift factor. And that's what we ended up. Yeah. So what we ended up doing that. And then, Narcoosse's is getting a little love here from Brad. Is a great way to do it.
So good.
And then Mary says that Narcoosse's is still on my list. I have not been there yet. And I promised myself I would ever since the Ella Porter interview where she was telling me about the dish there that her husband got. So.
And where is that one located?
Grand Floridian.
Oh.
Yeah, it's right on the water, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So if you book it, try to book your reservation for like 45 minutes before the fireworks, because that'll give you enough time to get a drink, an appetizer, and then they'll be bringing your food out around the time that the fireworks end. So, pro tip.
It's a great
Pro
idea.
tip. Pro tip. Yep. And then I think this would be a great one as well. So I just priced out Tusker House with breakfast and figured it was $92 with the refill cup as opposed to $78 for the Disney dining plan. So the cup is basically free. And I think Tusker House is another really great place to do it. Part of the thing that drives me nuts on those character meals is they all have like a surge pricing model.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even call the dining reservation number and them quote you a price on what it's going to be on a specific day. That's how crazy it is. It's just like, you're telling me I have to commit to this ahead of time, but you're not going to tell me what the price is. And somehow they get away with it. But
Yeah, we once went and ate with the princesses, and we didn't have the meal plan. That was the last year we went without the meal plan. My husband saw the bill come, and he was like, get back up and you go eat again.
I just don't think I could eat that much money's worth of food. I think when we went to Ohana in January, it was like $50 a person for breakfast. I'm like, I know I did not eat $50 worth of Mickey waffles here.
Yeah, but you're not paying $50 for Mickey waffles. You're paying $50 for Stitch.
And to see Mickey in a Hawaiian shirt. Yes.
Right.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So Danielle has a really good point here. She goes, I really wish they would remove the dessert and add a third snack credit that could be used for a dessert / individual app at a table service, or you could save it for when you're not full. Because, how many times do you have to come back in there and go, oh, I'm stuffed from, the appetizer, the this, and now you're bringing me dessert. Well, I got to have it in a to-go box.
Yep.
So, great deal.
Now, I bet I just, projecting a little into the future, I wonder if they're going to try and get rid of the whole, is this a quick service? Is this a table service? Maybe they're going to, because it's hard enough to explain it to us that speak English, but they have people from all over the world, and you have people coming in, and there was one family in front of us, and they didn't understand what they had and what they needed and what they were going to do with what they had. So I bet it would get kind of confusing.
Yeah, that would be another interesting point here. And I guess that would simplify it, just saying, hey, look. And I guess if they were to do that and they were to come back in and go, hey, we have 3 dining plans and they're all for anything. Okay. You can go, a 1 meal a day, a 2 meal a day, or a 3 meal a day plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And they worked any place. That would bump up the price of that basic plan quite a bit. And I think they use that as the free dining marketing. So they might not want to do that one, because I think if in the free dining, isn't that the one that they normally give you?
So for free dining, it depends on what level of resort you stay at. So if you stay at a value resort, you usually get the quick service meal plan free. If you're at a moderate, it's the standard. So the 1 quick service, the 1 table service. And then if you're at a deluxe or a deluxe villa, you can opt into the deluxe plan.
Got it. Okay. So, that pretty much covers that one. And Mary makes a great comment here. She goes, I'm sure the servers get sick of explaining everything.
They're so patient. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. And she says it depends on where you stay, but you can always upgrade. And yep. And then Sam writes in, character meals are so expensive to pay out of pocket. They can turn out to be a really sweet spot on the dining plan. And that is a great use of a 1 table service deal, because the character ones are still 1 deal. I think you really have to get into signature restaurants to get into the 2s. And to me, I don't know if they're worth it or not, but I don't know. Because
like for us, they weren't. When we went to Boathouse this past time, we had the meal plan, and then they're like, oh, it's 2. And I looked at it and we were like, we'll pay out of cash. Like, I wasn't burning 2 meal credits for that.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience at Boathouse. Like, by the time, because we used the dining plan to pay for it, but when I actually looked at the bill, I'm like, I could have just paid out of pocket for this, because it was basically the equivalent of 1 credit, but I got charged 2.
Right.
So it just depends on what you get, I guess, but it wasn't worth 2 for us.
No.
Yeah, so there you guys go. Anyways, that pretty much wraps up today's show. We're at about the hour mark, so we'll go ahead and call this one quits. And be on the lookout. I am going to pop up one of those shows just based on what I'm hearing from sponsors, what I'm hearing from you guys, and see if we can't do a little bit of a quick show and just come in with some member info. So be on the lookout for that. We'll try that out. It doesn't cost a whole lot to try anything new because, well, all of my technology is paid for at this point in time. So it's really just about time putting into it. So anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in and have a great week. And we'll be back next Sunday. And then this week's episode is none other than our own Samantha.
Yay! You get to hear all about buying into DVC as a millennial. It's great.
It is. It's a really great show. And Samantha is really fun and a great person to hang out with and get to know. And so, Alicia, you're going to be like the only one of the regular live co-hosts that haven't got your whole backstory done. So we're going to have to take care of that. Okay.
I think that could be you got to get Bill on it instead.
Yeah,
I'll get kids.
I'll get you, Bill, and the whole family. Maybe I'll just bring my recording studio over to your house and, come visit you for a day. And we'll come knock that out.
Wait till the DVC world meets Bill. Oh my God, he's funny.
Yeah, Bill's a hoot. But I don't have a bleep button though. So
yeah. That's why he's not on social media much. Yeah, you'll have to see the unedited version of that one. That's a paid.
Anyways, you're quite welcome, Vicky, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. Y'all have a great night.
Bye.
See ya.